Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're exploring something really fascinating, how our everyday split-second choices create these massive ripples. Ripples that affect not just us, but our environment and the generations to come. We make countless decisions every single day, mostly on autopilot. But what if I told you that a simple moment of distraction could literally be the first domino in a devastating chain of events? Today, we're connecting the dots between our daily habits, our civic duty, and global sustainability.
Let's start things off by asking ourselves this rather provocative question. We usually think of a disaster as this sudden, totally unavoidable tragedy that just happens out of the blue. But honestly, tragedies rarely happen out of nowhere. They almost always occur as a chain of incidents. Whether it's an emergency on the road, a chemical hazard sitting in your home, or even a widespread environmental crisis, human action, or sometimes inaction, is right at the very core of the issue.
Here is how we're going to break this down today. We'll start with the chain of human error, move into the crisis on our roads, and then look at toxic hazards and train tracks. After that, we'll shift to lifestyles for sustainable development, and finally, our duty to the future. We're going step by step from personal carelessness all the way to our broader civic responsibility.
Let's get into Section 1, the chain of human error, looking at carelessness as a catalyst. Because while we often label disasters as purely natural, human action is frequently the spark that turns a situation deadly.
Have you ever heard this traditional road safety song that gets broadcast in Sri Lanka? The lyrics go, "When you take the wheel, do not fly. Go on the journey, do not be in a hurry." It's brilliant, actually. It perfectly highlights the contrast between the chaotic, dangerous hurry of modern life and the deliberate caution we desperately need. It's a stark reminder that a driver's carelessness leaves behind helpless, sorrowful families. The message is simple: do not fly.
Moving right along to Section 2, the crisis on our roads, we're visualizing the blame. It's time to completely shatter this illusion of the unavoidable tragedy happening on our streets.
When you actually look at the data, it's a real wake-up call. A staggering 85% of road accidents are entirely due to human error. Just 15% come down to mechanical faults. Think about that. That means the vast majority of collisions, injuries, and fatalities are choices, not accidents. They're the direct result of indiscipline, high speeds, fatigue, and just completely ignoring the rules of the road.
Just look at the sheer volume of lives lost annually in Sri Lanka. Back in 2010, we saw 2,721 deaths. By 2014, it was still tragically high at 2,440. Behind every single one of those numbers is a real person who simply left home to go to school or to their job. The fallout is massive. In fact, in just one single day in 2014, road accidents caused an estimated economic loss of 20 billion rupees, alongside severe property damage and, of course, loss of life. It is a huge social and economic drain.
This right here captures the horrific action and consequence pipeline perfectly. You know the scenario. Someone walking across the street completely glued to their mobile phone, or a driver sending a quick text. That tiny distraction can trigger a fatal disaster. And keep in mind, pedestrian faults like ignoring zebra crossings, walking in groups on the street, or wearing dark clothes at night are just as deadly as a driver's indiscipline.
Now, the government spends heavily to install essential road signs to protect us, along with CCTV cameras and marked speed limits. They're essentially handing us a safety toolkit, but it is entirely up to us to actually use it. Ignoring a pedestrian crossing ahead sign or flying past a dangerous descent warning is a conscious failure of our civic duty.
So the crucial takeaway here is that safety is absolutely a shared responsibility. It requires disciplined drivers who refuse to drive under the influence of liquor or heavy fatigue, working alongside alert pedestrians who actually follow the rules. It's a two-way street of mutual respect.
Let's shift gears to Section 3, Toxic Hazards and Train Tracks. We're looking at negligence beyond the road to see how this carelessness ripples into our railway networks and even our homes.
Just like we see on the streets, train accidents are going up fast. And again, human choices are the primary driver here. People are choosing to walk right on the railway tracks, they blatantly ignore safety crossing signals, or they live recklessly close to the tracks. The negligence is really quite astounding.
But hazards aren't just out in the world. Look at this universally recognized symbol for danger. Improper storage of household chemicals, using pesticides without basic gear like masks or gloves, or just completely ignoring warning labels can lead to deadly poisoning right in your kitchen, your garden, or a school lab. Storing these substances in unmarked bottles, right where kids can reach them, is a direct choice that invites disaster.
If a poisoning accident does happen, there is a precise protocol you must follow. But pay very close attention to step 4, bringing the chemical container or wrapper to the doctor. This detail is absolutely vital because identifying the exact poison allows medical professionals to administer the correct treatment immediately, which can quite literally save a life.
Okay, on to Section 4, Lifestyles for Sustainable Development. This is where we step back from the immediate accidents and start looking at the bigger picture of how our careless habits threaten our global future.
Look at this stark contrast. Ever since the Industrial Revolution, modern man consumes resources incredibly heavily and disposes of waste carelessly, prioritizing immediate, complex needs over nature's limits. Conversely, our ancestors lived affordable, simple lifestyles. They fulfilled their basic needs for food, shelter, and clothing, but critically, they took only what was absolutely necessary and carefully preserved natural stocks for future use.
This modern carelessness ripples outward into huge community health crises. Improper garbage disposal, like tossing empty chemical bottles into waterways or gutters, is a direct cause of the deadly dengue fever menace. Plus, the overuse of agricultural chemicals, like glyphosate, is strongly linked to severe kidney ailments. We are quite literally poisoning our own communities through our bad daily habits.
But sustainable living isn't just some ancient concept we've outgrown. Take a look at Japan. Utilizing bicycles for daily commuting is a highly effective modern economic solution there. Bikes are incredibly eco-friendly, and in Japan, riding one implies no social discrimination. It's just smart, sustainable transit. It's living proof that a developed nation can totally embrace an affordable, low-impact lifestyle.
Finally, we reach Section 5, our duty to the future, planting seeds for tomorrow. Let's bring it all together and see how our daily mindfulness is ultimately a profound civic duty. There's this simple childhood poem about an orange tree that perfectly encapsulates sustainable development. The branches are heavily laden with mature, ripe fruit, but the children recognize that they only need 2. It's the deliberate restraint of taking only what you need to survive and actively choosing to preserve the rest.
This story hits the nail on the head regarding the long-term mindset we need. In the poem, The Value of Duty by Venerable S. Mahindatharo, a child asks his grandfather why he's working so hard to plant a mango seed when he likely won't live long enough to eat its fruit. The grandpa's powerful reply reminds us that we are currently enjoying the fruits of trees planted by our own grandparents. We owe that exact same duty to the unborn. Sustainable development means acting selflessly today for tomorrow we might never see.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with this final thought. Look at your own daily actions, on the road, in your home, and in how you consume resources. What kind of seeds are you planting for the next generation? Are your choices creating ripples of carelessness and disaster? Or are you planting seeds for a safe, sustainable future? The choice is entirely in your hands. Thanks for learning with us today.